What's up, everybody? It's Raheem Escalai here. Today is Wednesday, January 26th, 2022. This is episode 253 of 4-3 Sportstalk. It's fucking Power Rankings Wednesday. Basketball on the girls and boys side gets ranked according to my secret formula. I got NBA, NHL, college basketball. I got news. Let's just get into it. It's Power Rankings Wednesday. You're probably going to see this late, but that's because of the exquisite video editing in which I do. Steph Curry and company handle business against Dallas. They win 130-92. Shout out to Mr. Curry, and that was a whooping, but not like this one. Celtics shoot good and defend well and smoke the motherfucking Kings. 128-75. 128-75. Boston wins. Two really big basketball games. Margin of victory was from like here to fucking Egypt. Teams just got to play defense and try to come up with a strategy to beat them. I mean, unless it's like just a simple case of some hot shooters, and you can't defend a hot shot, no matter who you are. Amherst Lady Hurricanes are undefeated no more. They lost to Wacona 47-42. Don't worry about those Lady Hurricanes. They will be back. They've got 3 games this week, and I'm pretty sure they're going to complete that little stretch. This was just a little bump in the road, but Amherst is going to continue their ways. They're going to continue that 3-point shooting. And these Lady Hurricanes, they're trying to be number 1, so y'all better watch out. One thing you got to watch out for, Sean Payton steps away as the Saints head coach. 16 years. It's kind of funny that after Drew Brees retired and we didn't know what the fuck he had at quarterback, he was stressed and he decided to step down. It was a smart time to step down. Jameis is no guarantee on that torn ACL. Ian Book needs to develop more. Taysom Hill's not a quarterback. So I could see why he would step away, but that shadow is ever looming over Mike McCarthy in Dallas, and you know why. Sean Payton's ties to the Cowboys, to the Big Tuna. Shout out to Bill Parcells, 1,000 years old. What's up, brother? So I believe eventually in some capacity, Sean Payton will be back in Dallas. David Ortiz accepts the call from the Hall. Cooperstown, New York. He is now one of the baseball legends in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens were snubbed in their final try. Listen, I understand they came from the Juice era, but that's when we, people in my age range, watched baseball. Was enamored by all the home runs being hit. And especially when McGuire and Sosa were chasing each other. It was like 98, something like that. I can't lie, my heart hurts that they're not in the Hall. Granted, they juiced, they cheated, you know what I mean? But they still had reputable careers, just like great careers. And careers that, in my opinion, aren't defined by the juice. But to all those Hall of Fame writers, I guess that's the case right there. The case is the opposite. Something else stunning. The Auburn Tigers survive a close one in their first game as AP number 1. They won 55-54. Mississippi State, I believe, was the foe, but we'll get into the score later. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna use this as a learning experience, step up, and keep that number 1 ranking for the rest of the season. Yeah, until March. Olivia Gambaroni is the star again as the Lady Warriors beat Amherst 47-42, as we explained with the first story of the intro. And shout out to Olivia with that hot hand. And now the news is done. Now we go into power rankings. We're going to start with the boys' side. Really quickly, no arguing. You got a problem, hop in the inbox and we'll solve it. Number 1, Central Golden Eagles are 7-1. Number 2, Springfield International Charter. They are 8-3. And number 3, the Amherst Hurricanes. They are 9-3. 9-2. I'm sorry. Number 4, Pope Francis. They sit at 7-2. The Wacona Warriors are the 5th ranked team, and they are 8-2. Holyoke Purple Knights are 6-2 at number 6, but that is going to change because they've been losing of late. Northampton checks in at number 7, also with a record of 6-2. The Agawam Brownies are number 8 with a record of 9-3. Hopkins checks in at number 9 with a 7-2 record, and the Bay State Academy Bulls are number 10. They're 5-2, and that concludes the rankings for the high school boys side. Again, it took a while to make this list. Any inquiries? You might feel like a certain team should be in a certain area. Inbox me. We'll talk about it. That's all I can say. Now to the girls. Also, number 1, the Central Golden Eagles. Number 2, the Wacona Warriors are 10-2. Number 3, the East Hampton Eagles are a perfect 11-0. They're ranked to number 3 for a reason. That strength of schedule is horrible. They play nobody. Northampton is 8-4 at number 4. Holyoke Purple Knights also checking at number 5 over here. They are 6-3. Brittany Ortiz Cardona, she's a baller. Number 6, Chicopee, they're 8-1. Agawam's 8-2 at number 7. Amherst is also 8-1 at number 8. Hoosick Valley, they're 10-1 at number 9. I gotta put Hoosick Valley on the list. And Springfield International Charter School, all the old coaches and people who are geriatric call it Sabbath. But that concludes the girls' rankings for high school basketball. Again, any issues, inquiries with those, please inbox me, and we'll solve that really quickly. Now let's get into Western Mass sports scores. Central beat Minnechaug in wrestling 36-34. Swimming, Chicopee beat Turners Falls 29-22. And in hockey, Chicopee took over South Hadley 6-4. And now on to the 5 basketball games that the boys' side had. Mount Greylock beat Franklin Tech 62-43. Mount Greylock is now 8-3 on the year. Lennox beat Greenfield in a tough one. Greenfield led in the second quarter, but Lennox decided to take it at the end, 62-57. Frontier Redhawks beat Drury by 10, 58-48. Renaissance over Hampshire 54-42, and Pathfinder beats Hamden Charter School of Science East 46-37. And those are your boys' basketball scores. Now on to the gals. For hockey, Pope Francis all over East Bridgewater 6-1. The Pope Francis Lady Cardinals are 6-3 on the year. Swimming, Turners Falls over Chicopee 49-26. And those are your scores for swimming and hockey. Now on the basketball. Frontier over Greenfield 40-20. Frontier is 8-2 on the year. Pope Francis over Renaissance 52-23. McCann Tech over Hamden Charter School of Science West 54-15. That's embarrassing. You only scored 15 points in a basketball game. Crazy. And the next one's only 17, but St. Mary's all over Westfield Tech 54-17. That St. Mary's team is 7-0. They are a force to be reckoned with, to say the least. Belchertown beat Mount Greylock 45-32. Smith Volk over Side Tech 56-20. The number 1 Central Golden Eagles destroyed Minnechaug 71-13. Minnechaug falls to 5-4. Wacona over Amherst 47-42. Amherst is 8-1, their first loss of the season. Sucks. Granby beats Munson 41-34. Agawam Brownies beat the Ludlow Lions 47-20. Ludlow's 1-11. Ouch. Fire that coach. The undefeated East Hampton Eagles beat Lee 32-29. See what I'm saying about strength of schedule with those East Hampton Eagles? Pathfinder over Commerce, 36-31. Commerce falls to 1-4. Football program wasn't that good last year. Basketball program's doing so much better. Only scores for a Western mess. Now let us go to. These are the maybe babies as far as free agents in the NFL are concerned. Now, what I did was I went through the lot of the 32 teams, looked at contracts and players who would be stepping into free agency this year. But I have something for these teams so that they might possibly potentially re-sign these guys. And we're going to start with number one, the Arizona Cardinals. They should re-sign Chandler Jones. He recorded 10.5 sacks. One of the league's best pass rushers. So there's no reason why this guy should reach free agency. Tag him if you need to, if for some reason they can't get a long-term deal done. But definitely it's imperative that the Arizona Cardinals keep Chandler Jones on their roster. Number two, the Atlanta Falcons, Foyesade Oluokun. Sorry if I fucked up your name, which sounds like I did. This guy led the NFL in tackles, I found out, with 192. He's a key defender in that Atlanta Falcons linebackers group. But the Falcons didn't translate with that decent defense into wins. Resign this guy. Potentially, I think the Falcons pick at the top of the draft again. Go for, not Devin White. Darren something. A linebacker from Utah that runs like a 4.2 40. Everybody's been talking about for a couple of months. Go grab him, add him to the defense. Still don't understand why Atlanta has Matt Ryan as their quarterback, but they're fucking retarded. So franchises like that are going to keep making mistakes. Number three, Baltimore, Bradley Bozeman. Started for the last 3 years at an offensive line that's gotten better every year. Though they don't have GM Ozzie Newsome to cultivate all these perfect draft picks, that offensive line as a unit has been getting better. They looked real good opening day. Ronnie Stanley. That run, he's a run blocking right tackle if I've ever did see one. Real stout, plays kind of low to the ground, a lot of power in the legs. I like the Ravens' offensive line when they are not injured, and Bradley Bozeman needs to be re-signed, if anything, to a franchise tender. Number four, Buffalo, Levi Wallace, the corner who replaced Tre'Davious White at the beginning of the year. If you remember that Tre'Davious White went down with a torn ACL, Levi stepped in and balled the fuck out from the second he did. And now that there has been injury concerns that have come up in the secondary, I think it's time to re-sign him as a little insurance. You never know what might happen in the future with Tre'Davious. Bill's got decent safeties, so you might want to invest in this cornerback. Number five, Hassan Reddick from the Carolina Panthers. 11 sacks this year in a 1 year kind of like prove me type deal. What's interesting is when he played with Arizona in 2020, he had 12.5. So this guy can get to the quarterback. It's just the off-the-field stuff, keeping focused in practice. Honestly, I think Hassan is very deserving of a new deal, of a big one, and I hope the Carolina Panthers give it to him. If you do remember, the Panthers had an interchangeable defensive lineman, Charles Johnson. He was like number 95. D-tackle, D-end. He got a huge contract and didn't do shit. So I hope that the Panthers brass does their due diligence here and pays this guy accordingly. Number 6, Akeem Hicks, the D-tackle from the Chicago Bears. Fuck the Bears. Great run stopper. He's honestly, with an injury-riddled 2021, I think it's time for him to sign elsewhere. 32 years old, maybe 33, start ring chasing. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's what it's about at this point in the stage in your career. Um, so, Akeem Hicks, who would he sign with though? You would think that everybody would need run support, run defense, a solid run defense at the nose tackle position. So I guess I guess any team could pick him up really. Probably would be a good fit in with the Washington football team, which is going to change soon. One of those teams in the NFC East that has to go up against Zeke and Saquon Barkley. Put a big guy like him in there, and he will limit those running backs' touches if he's still got any in the tank. Number 7 from the Cincinnati Bengals. At the beginning of last year, I want to say it was like episode 30 or something like that. I was going through defensive players, one defensive player on each team that meant the world to their squad, and it was Jesse Bates, the third. The only real star on that defense, really made a name for himself at the free safety position, and I don't think Cincy's stupid enough to let him go. We'll just say that. Yeah, he needs a deal because he's going to go somewhere else, maybe to Denver with Justin Jefferson, and no one's going to throw touchdowns on that team. Something to think about, right? Number 8, Cleveland's Jadeveon Clowney. He's often injured. Good compliment to Myles Garrett, though. So when he's not injured and can stay on the field, it's for offenses, it's fucking hell trying to defend those two, to stop those two from sacking your quarterback. And then making sure you make the right line calls with protection and stuff like that. They're hell to deal with, and I would hate to be in the AFC North as an opposing team, having to go up against Garrett and Clowney for X amount of snaps a game. It's got to be hell. Number 9, Dallas Cowboys, Dalton Schultz, that tight end that kind of tore up San Francisco a little bit. Yeah, okay, we'll agree. 78 catches, 808 yards, and 8 touchdowns in 2021. But that's not it. 63 catches, 615 yards, 4 touchdowns in 2020. Pay that man because he only signed a rookie deal of 2 years. Pay him. Not like a Travis Kelce or something like that, but Jonnu Smith from the Patriots, kind of like, or Hunter Henry, kind of like a contract within those pay guidelines. Number 10, the Denver Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater, the quarterback. And now, what upsets me here is his deal wasn't done earlier in the season. As most franchise quarterbacks are shown that respect. He was in Carolina, he dissed. He was in Minnesota, he was dissed. Teddy Bridgewater's a baller. He's very consistent, especially with winning. You know what I mean? Doesn't have any playoff games under his belt, really. But that regular season, you need your team to get like 10, 11, 12 wins, get up in the playoffs, lose in the first round. That is definitely your guy, Teddy Bridgewater. Number 11, Charles Harris, outside linebacker for the Detroit Lions. I'm not really going to say much here. Detroit needs to re-sign and sign fucking everything that ain't tied down. That team needs all type of help. Number 12, Green Bay Packers. Devontae Adams, clearly the number 1 guy we should sign. We've got a lot of guys potentially going up for free agency, and our cap space isn't what you would expect in a normal year. So I think Gutekunst needs to fucking sign Devontae. Aaron will come, but get him the NFL's best wideout, and make sure he's the highest paid wideout. Number 13, Houston's Justin Reed. Third round pick in 2018. He was suspended last year for one game, talking shit to his coach. I thought it was hilarious. I saw the whole video. And this dude's a hell of a tackler, very instinctive. I've seen him pick off a couple passes too. Come on, Houston, stop letting go of everybody. You're already going to get rid of Deshaun this year. Might as well try to save some face on the defensive side of the ball. Number 14, I have T.Y. Hilton, wideout from the Colts. He was one of Jim Irsay's favorite players. He's missed 16 games over 4 years, though. And that, to me, sounds like maybe a 1-2 year deal. If anything, with a bunch of injury clauses in it. But when T.Y. is healthy, those bombs downfield are ridiculous. No one's a better deep ball receiver than T.Y. Hilton when he's healthy. Number 15, Jacksonville Jaguars, Cam Robinson. Don't laugh at me. I understand. I get it. He sucks. He's garbage. I think, though, it will take more to draft a rookie and bring him through the ropes, especially if he's not an Evan Neal or one of those top offensive linemen. So take Cam back and give him a prove me deal. Maybe even 2 years if you feel like being generous. And cut him after the 2022 season because the Jaguars are most likely not going to make the playoffs. Number 16, the final player we have for today, the Honey Badger for the Kansas City Chiefs, Tyrann Mathieu. Resign him. There's no reasonable replacement in college or in free agency that you can plug in here and you'll get the same production. The Honey Badger is unlike any other, and they need to resign him. They can't let him walk. But that's it for numbers 1 through 16. You tune in tomorrow. I will give you 17 through 32. This was really fun to do. When I sat and I was thinking about these players, it also brought some more questions to mind as far as free agency and what certain teams are going to do. So I can't wait to bring you 17 through 32 tomorrow, so then you can see a lot more of the league's winning teams are on that on the latter half. So I think it's going to be a treat to you guys to see who I think your team needs to resign. Let's go to the NBA. Denver over Detroit 110-105. Toronto beats Charlotte 125-113. Clippers, wow. Fucking Clippers won. 116-115 over the Washington Wizards. Philly beats NOLA 117-107. Celtics over the Kings 128-75. Lakers beat the Nets 106-96. And San Ann over Houston 134-104. Those are your Golden State, I forgot. Golden State whooped Dallas 130-92. Minnesota over Portland 109-107. And those are your scores for the NBA. NHL time. Ottawa over Buffalo 5-0. Dallas beats New Jersey 5-1. Pittsburgh over Arizona 6-3. In overtime, Carolina beats the Vegas Golden Knights 4-3. Islanders over Philly by the same score, 4-3. Wow, hockey's so fun. Nashville beats Seattle 4-2. Florida over Winnipeg 5-3, and in overtime, Edmonton beats Vancouver 3-2. And those are your scores for the NHL. College basketball on the men's side. Number 24, Illinois upset Michigan State 56-55. It's not really an upset when it's 1 point, but when you're top 10 and you lose to a team who was not even almost ranked, that's a tad bit embarrassing. Number 9, Duke beat Clemson 71-69. Villanova over DePaul 67-43. Baylor Bears beat K-State 74-49. Auburn Tigers over the Missouri Tigers 55-54. Y'all gotta play better defense than that if you want to retain that number 1 ranking, Auburn. Just All I'm saying. Number 20, UConn over Georgetown, 96-73. Number 12, Kentucky beats Mississippi State in overtime, 82-74. And UCLA beats Arizona, 75-59. Arizona was ranked number 3. So, yeah, they're back to the drawing board as far as everything goes. And that'll do it for college basketball on the men's side. And on the women's side, the Iowa Hawkeyes beat the Penn State Nittany Lions 107-74. Ow, that's fucking wild. Notre Dame and Virginia was postponed. And this is your episode 253 of 413 Sports Talk. Raheem Asklai here. 44 subscribers on YouTube. So why don't you go over there and help us out and bring that number up and continue to interact with the posts and continue to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. 413 Sports Talk is on Facebook and is the best sports show on the East Coast. Love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow with 254.